stuff.
Really?
Yeah, on
No.
I mean on the Slack channel, and yeah. But I'm happy that we can talk about it now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been reading a lot about these Facebook issues and what they're trying to do. I mean, I understand it from Apple's point of view, but it's good. It would be great to get a perspective from a tracking platform side and what you think and where the evolution is. And I know we've talked about this in the past through our first podcast about the evolution of like tracking and where it's going to go. So just for everybody to understand, Laurent actually owns AnyTrack.io. He's actually been helping out a lot in the Affiliate Business Club with tracking, specifically between Facebook and Google, specifically with any of the ads stuff. So if you have any questions, obviously to go ahead and go in the chat. But today's conversation is more so what I talked about last week. I guess Laurent saw the video and he just want to give some feedback. And I feel like it's really, really good and best for him to do that, to get it from his perspective. So Laurent, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick and let's get into what this issue is with Facebook and Apple is.
Okay, so well, I'm the founder of AnyTrack, conversion tracking platform for mainly Facebook ads, Google ads, Bing, and native ads. It's a very special tracking platform that doesn't really follow the rules that we've seen on or you see on the traditional tracking software. But just stop by, have a look, try free, and you'll see for yourself. About Apple and Facebook, I mean, we need to understand first that it's not specifically about Apple and Facebook, or not specifically about Facebook. It's more specific to all app developers. Now, all app developers that have their app on the App Store will have to get consent from the users to be tracked. Not necessarily about advertising, but to be tracked as a general concept. So it's like tracking the location of the user, tracking the user data. But obviously that impacts directly the advertising ecosystem, and in particular Facebook. Why Facebook? Because Facebook is an app developer. Why Facebook? Because Facebook is an ad network. So where and Facebook is also an audience network. So it means that publishers, so like apps that are not that do not belong to Facebook, are basically adding the ads of Facebook on their apps. Lacking tracking and audience data will obviously lower the value of the traffic, and obviously the app developers, whatever apps. I'm not a big app user, so but any app that runs Facebook ads as a publisher will see lower revenues, and obviously that's Facebook is going to be hit by this, and that's one of the the big challenges that they're trying to overcome right now. Facebook as an advertising network where people like you and us go and buy traffic will also suffer, because the ad targeting will be poorer than it is right now, and we as advertisers will have less data to play with, less conversion types. I mean, now they've limited to about 8, which is a lot. I mean, most people don't even track one conversion, or they think that a queue is a conversion. So, 8 is more than enough for most advertisers. But so Facebook is obviously, because of the lack of data they're going to get out of apps installed through the App Store, they are reducing the number of conversion types or event types that that you're going to be able to track, so that they will be doing some aggregation of conversion. They will have more more data per type of conversion to play with in order to attribute the conversion. Um, so the big issue here is obviously tracking and attribution. And one of the reasons Facebook is pushing to use the conversion API is because of their new measurements aggregation type of track. And why is because when the conversion, because the conversion will be sent somehow out of the of the app. Yep. But when those conversions will be sent, without the click ID and without the parameters that are used to pinpoint on a specific user, they will process the data, and after 24 hours, 48 hours, up to 3 days from what I understand, and then only they will fire the conversion. Now, obviously, when they process the data, it's in their server, and once they finish with the processing of the data, they fire that conversion, or that conversion is being sent from a server. So it's server-side tracking, and they call it the conversion API. And that's why, essentially, they are pushing towards the conversion API. Now, if I may add, every actor in that ecosystem will work server-side. Now, just as a matter of fact, JavaScript, cookies, pixels don't really work on mobile, and it's mostly server side on mobile. But then, what's going to happen is also on the web, cookies will start being erased, tracking pixel will start to be blocked, and that's why they are pushing toward that conversion API. Yeah. So if you haven't yet thought about adding the conversion API to your stack, it's time to think about it.
I agree. Now, this is interesting for a lot of people. So what's happening is that for us affiliates, we need the conversion in real time, and it's super important that we can be like, hey, we spent $5 and we got a $7.50 conversion. We profited $2.50, right, in real time. And I thought it was actually 4 days of data held before they actually fired it, not 3. I mean, I might be wrong as well.
No, okay. So let me add some details to that. The Facebook has up to 7-day attribution window. It means that from the moment the user clicks on an ad, until the moment it actually converts, okay, they allow up to 7 days. So if beyond 7 days there is a conversion, it's not going to be tied to an ad, and that's for like the click attribution. The view attribution is normally the setting that you put on your account is 1-day attribution, but the processing time for Facebook to actually display the conversion in your ad account is going to be up to 3 days. So it's when it was like the JavaScript pixel, the standard Facebook pixel was showing the conversions or the events in like near real time, but the conversion API is longer. That's unfortunate. I mean, like the conversion can be sent, in real time by your server, by your affiliate system, by any track. But at the end, Facebook will process the data, aggregate the data, and then display it in your system. Sometimes it's going to be faster, and sometimes it's going to take longer. It just depends the data set that you have, and that's why it's a very complex system, the API, because it uses not just a click ID, it uses the plenty of other data points that Facebook drops, with the standard Facebook pixel. And you have to instrument all those parameters to actually get a match rate, to attribute the conversion properly within Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting that Facebook, because to my understanding, since I know a lot of affiliates, they actually don't use like a tracking platform for Facebook because they don't want to do any cross domain contamination, have their Facebook or business account misused. So in that aspect, I look to it as like, okay, that means I have delayed data, but you're saying that the data does not have to be delayed based on, let's say, from the affiliate network, as long as they're finding a pixel to your on domain tracker.
No, okay.
But within Facebook's business manager, you're saying that it's real time, or 3 days. I'm sorry.
It's when you see the conversion in the Facebook event manager, you can actually see at what time it's actually sent, and when it's actually showing up. So you can see conversion that from your system, because in your tracking server you're going to know that that's the conversion that was triggered 24 hours ago. And you're going to see that conversion in Facebook only 24 hours later. That's the time they take to process the data. I mean, there must be some reasons, but anyway, what you were saying about the domain contamination and the fact that what I understand, and I was very very surprised to hear that, is that some affiliate program were happy to actually take the affiliate pixels and add them to their offer page. Now, obviously, when you mix, everyone's pixels on the same domains, at some point there's going to be like some damages, because not everyone plays by the rule. So some guys do well, some guys do black hat, and eventually what happens is that when someone does something really nasty, then the domain is blacklisted, and all the pixels that were running or tied to that domain might be closed and penalized. The conversion API is a different story. Obviously, you need to have and verify your domain where your standard Facebook pixel is going to load, and the domain is your landing page, your website, not the affiliate offer, your pre-lender funnel, whatever that warms up the visitor to actually go later to the affiliate offer. So over there, you can put your standard Facebook pixel, you can verify your domain, and everybody's going to be happy with that. And there's not going to be any mix-up of pixel on that domain. The Facebook Conversion API, what it gives is the ability to send a conversion from a non-domain, from an app. And therefore, you don't have to verify anything. Or you know what? Yes, you verify. But the verification is done through the API, through the token that you actually generate from your business account. And because you have a business account that is verified, you can use the token and the Conversion API. So you can do cross-domain tracking, and you don't need to get your Facebook pixel somewhere on an offer page, on an offer thank you page, and run the risk to lose your business account because some other guys are doing something nasty.
Yeah, that's true. So
I mean,
I think there's going to be a huge drop off.
I don't have anything against anything, right? Everybody does his business the way he wants. I'm just saying, when you go to sleep with the dogs, you might wake up.
You can bit. Yeah, I agree. Now, the biggest question I know from a lot of affiliates that I've been asked personally is, what do you think the opt-in rate for Apple to or Facebook to opt? No, what is it? The opt-in rate for allowing users to allow their data to be passed through.
I think it's going to be very low.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. So you do not think it's going to mess around with like people's data? Like, I know when I see a couple drop off, a 2% drop off doesn't really bother me that much, but I think it's going to be pretty big, especially for maybe Generation Z, maybe, or even like some millennials. I think. No,
it's going to be over 50%.
Oh wow, interesting. What do you think?
I'm following a few guys that are like masters, actual real masters of Facebook ads. running large agencies, e-commerce staff, and they see a massive drop. It doesn't mean that you can't track. It just means that you're going to have less data.
Yeah, correct.
So in general, when you have offers that are that the conversion triggers within 24 hours, you should be pretty fine. But if you have like long conversion cycles, then that's where Facebook is going to have like a problem doing I mean, first of all, 7-day attribution, that's it. So you can't really make up for that. So if you have a conversion cycle that is longer than 7 days, that's a problem. Having said that, having the indications within Facebook is one thing. The conversion within Facebook is one thing. Making sure that you have the ability to keep tracking those conversions. I mean, if you run a campaign with Facebook, the fact that you don't fire the conversion, or even if you fire, they don't show up in Facebook because of the 7-day attribution. I mean, it's not that it doesn't matter. It does matter, obviously. But if you have a system that allows you to keep tracking those, conversion that come after the 7 days, then you still have a good indication of how profitable might be your campaigns. I mean, it's like specifically to the offers that have recurring revenues, in the gaming sector or in the financial sector. Exactly. Or SaaS, even startup like us. Yeah. I mean, we have like a 14 days free trial. So how do we go about the 7-day attribution? So having systems in place that allow you to to keep track of the lifetime value of your campaigns is key, and a mix of different analytics is key in that regard. That's why we push on our side to get acquainted with the Google Analytics, even though it's not a very popular platform in the affiliate industry. But Google Analytics is a treasure of data for marketers. So if you can tie your conversion data, your sales data with in Google Analytics on top of what you're doing with Facebook, then you have a data set that is very very rich, and from which you can learn a lot.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I totally agree with it. I mean, I use analytics for a lot of stuff specifically, but do you think people that use like Facebook events for like page views, impressions, like for just organic stuff to grow their LLAs, do you think that will affect a lot of this stuff with the events? Because the events, you can only have eight events, and obviously you can only hold a data for 7 days. So how does that affect LLAs?
The attribution is done based on the ad clicks, okay, from the ads. Now, organic traffic that generates page view on your website, they don't have there is no attribution issues in that case, because we're talking about we're not talking about the ads, okay? No, forget about the apps for a second. Okay. There is like the events data and then the ad attributed conversion data. So the events data, I mean, the fact that you have a conversion is going to fire within Facebook, and you're going to see that conversion in the event manager. The attribution is where the problem is. So you won't be able, after 7 days, you won't be able to see that conversion tied to an actual campaign or ad set or ad. And that's where the problem is. But still, the event will show up in Facebook Event Manager or in their Facebook Analytics. So you'll still be able to learn from what's going on, but you won't be able to optimize let's say according to ROI from conversions that were actually generated after the 7 days. And
Yeah.
an interesting thing about this is because of that 7-day attribution, Facebook had added some new parameters in their API for subscription for subscriptions. So you can send the expected lifetime value of a customer. Okay, so when someone signs up or starts a free trial, you can already set the expected lifetime value of that customer, and you can so you actually give the fake value or the indicative value of that conversion that will happen, over the next 12 months, because it's like a monthly subscription, and they have different type of events that you can use for that. Oh, my dog is barking. So it's, I mean, everybody's like actually preparing for that, for what's coming up. And Facebook has been doing a lot of work on that. They've made a lot of changes on their business manager. So yeah, it's very important to get very, very familiar with all those changes within Facebook. I mean, if you rely on Facebook. I mean,
and this is only going to be for iOS 14 and anybody to upgrade their devices, correct? Just it's an iOS 14 issue. No?
Yes, it's iOS 14. I mean, the attribution windows and everything. This is like all across the board.
Correct. Yeah, but the
iOS. Yeah. The iOS 14 is for the opt-in and the consent of the tracking. But it's a big chunk. I think it's over 50% of mobile users in the US.
Yeah, and everybody just hit auto update, and then the phone just updates overnight while you're sleeping. So majority of people just have.
I mean, don't fool yourself. I mean, it's gonna be a disaster. But at the same time, Apple is unleashing their their own ad network. Okay, so that's where you're gonna be able. Yeah, so that's where you're going to be able to buy traffic and have like a better attribution than Facebook. I mean, if you follow the battle, it's like very in the semantic battle. It's funny. You see the warning for any app. Okay. The warning is like, are you allowing this, app developer to follow across many websites, etc. And then, if you want to opt in or opt out of the Apple ad tracking, I mean, it's a very, very gentle message. I mean, you have to. I'll send it. I mean, you can have a look on your iPhone, man. Just now, and put a screenshot.
I'll do it in a bit.
It's actually it's quite funny, but it's going to obviously end up in a lawsuit or something, and Apple. But by the time there is by the time the court rules against Apple, Apple ad network will be massive. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they don't even give a shit.
Yeah, everybody technically is an ad network nowadays. From like Snapchat to TikTok to when I did this stuff, it was only literally Google, Facebook, MSN. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you have like the volume of traffic. You can work with Snapchat could be working with Facebook and maybe make more money from their ads. You don't know, but when you have enough volume of traffic, I mean, why working with the others? But if you go on Reddit, you see ads, AdSense on Reddit. So I guess
I do. I mean, I advertise on Reddit at times too, specifically. So I mean, you have Quora and Pinterest and all this other stuff. But now, in any case, like, how should one prepare? Because there's really no solid structure or foundation currently that's pretty solid on what's happening, right? Until it actually comes out, right? And we don't even have a release date, right, of this.
I think it's been rolling out already. In some areas. Correct. Yeah. Not everyone. That's why, I got some feedback from some guys. But yeah, anytime. I mean, it's coming. It's coming up. The storm is coming. How to prepare? You can follow our blog because we're going to be posting a lot of. We're posting on a regular basis stuff there. I think it would be worth it to follow Facebook releases, on their blog because they also publish quite a lot of stuff. Log into your business manager and see all the changes and make the adjustments in your account. Make sure you verify your domains. All your pixels. Make sure. Just like make things clear for yourself and for Facebook, so you don't get smashed. The Facebook API, obviously, that's something I recommend. I'm biased because my solution, does it
more specific server side.
Does it for you? Just like just watch. But yeah, it's slowly the Facebook pixel will be deprecated, the standard pixel, and most of the conversion will be reported by the API.
Yeah.
But there are other providers. If you work on if you run on Shopify, Shopify does have has a Facebook conversion API integration built in, so that's a relief for those running on the Shopify websites. I think that Square. There are quite a few CMS that do have that API. There are some more sophisticated platforms, more like for developers, like Segment, and you have Zapier. But it's Zapier. But Zapier, you have to instrument the website data before you can actually use the Zapier integration with Facebook. So it's like it's actually nice to have, but if you're not,
I think it also can get pretty expensive too, especially if you're throwing so many events from Zapier.
It's very very expensive. You can get to like $400 bill, in no time. But
I use Zapier for like alerts. So.
Yeah, I have like also a $50 account with them, but it's like for really tiny little things that I don't want to have like a developer doing that, and I can feel like I'm very smart and like playing with APIs.
That's true. I've been learning a little bit of JavaScript myself because I've been using Amplify to scrape some stuff off websites, and then I use Zapier to send me back the information.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So, so there's a lot of stuff that I think that's going to be changing. Like, I still don't know how impacts on like audiences, how long a learning phase is, because sometimes it's currently right now the learning phase on Facebook is roughly 3 days to almost roughly about 3 days to 5 days. It's going to be a learning phase because the attribution now is going to be so little, right? Are they going to compact everything in 1 hour? Are they going to compact 24?
Okay, now you're getting into the very inner details of running the ad campaigns, and I think there are like people much more qualified than me to give you those insights. I can tell you about the technical aspect of the attribution and the tracking, but how the learning phase of the campaigns will actually be rolled out, how it's going to be changed. Check out the blog, Facebook blog.
True.
Seriously, sometimes the source of truth is really there, and it's not some blogger or guru that something.
Hey, what are you trying to say about me, brother?
No. No, you're asking the question.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you're on this show right now,
The guru would tell you the answer, and I'm not.
That's true. It will work. That's exactly,
so I'm saying that sometimes there are places where you can get the real data, the real information, and I think Facebook in that case is where you should also source your information. I was answering some questions on the STM the other day, and someone was saying, well, but the Facebook conversion API, just it was either only for the ads or only for the the audience. And I mean, if you look you just type in Facebook conversion API and you find the docs from Facebook. You read the first two lines. It's like the Facebook conversion API works alongside the Facebook pixel, so it does exactly the same thing. But people they just don't bother reading what's there, and they get confused and scared, and they think that the world is gonna fall apart. But sometimes the information is just right under your nose.
Hey, some people just want to ask questions and get an answer, whether 2 hours, 24 hours later, right? I'm Googling all the time, So that's
I mean, it's like, really, sometimes it's very important to go and find that information. So yeah, but yeah, so we'll keep publishing stuff on our Twitter and our blog, and yeah, and obviously questions on Slack. I'll be happy to to answer. And
yeah, that's great. Because I mean, I definitely appreciate you. I know we've been talking back and forth on it a little bit, and it's great to just have you and talk about this issue. So
happy.
Let's quite end it. Laurent, I want to thank you for it. And if anybody got any questions, this will be posted to our newsletter and our community. And Laurent is heavily involved in the Affiliate Business Club community and always answering questions between Facebook and Google ads. So Laurent, again, thank you. And then
thanks to you, Jan.
No problem.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Cheers, bye.